40 days and 40 nights, didn't it rain, children? Not a speck of land in sight, didn't it rain? But Noah built the ark so tight, they sailed on, children. And when at last the waters receded, and the dove brought back the olive tree leaf, he landed that ship near Mount Ararat, and one of his children grabbed Noah's robe and said,
"Hey, Dad, how many animals on this old ark anyway, huh?"
Elementary, my dear, 2 times 2 is 4. Elementary, my dear, 2 times 3 is 6. Elementary, my dear, 2 times 4 is 8. Elementary, my dear, 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 1 is 2, of course, and it must occur to you. You get an even number every time you multiply by 2. Elementary, my dear, 2 times 6 is 12. Elementary, my dear, 2 times 7 is 14. Elementary, my dear, 2 times 8 is 16. Elementary, my dear, 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 10 is 20. 11 twice is 22. Double 12, that's 24. 13 twice is 26. 14 twice is 28. 15 twice is 30. Now you build it up on 30. 16 twice is 32. Elementary. 17 twice is 34, elementary. 18 twice is 36, elementary. 19 twice is 38, elementary. 20 twice is 40, and it must occur to you. You can double any number, all you do is multiply by 2. Elementary, my dear, 2 times 2 is 4. Woo. Elementary, my dear, 2 times 3 is 6. Yeah, elementary, my dear, 2 times 4 is 8. Woo. Elementary, my dear, 2 times 5 is 10. Yeah. Now, if you want to multiply 2 times 174, or some big number like that, 2 times 174 equals 2 times 100 plus 2 times 70 plus 2 times 4. That's all. So 2 times 174 equals 200 plus 140 plus 8 are 348. It's elementary. 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 Twice 32 is 64. Elementary. Twice 33 is 66. Elementary. Twice 34 is 68. Elementary. Twice 35 is 70. Elementary. Yeah, yes, it's elementary. Yeah. Now, what's 2 times 98?
Aw, that's hard.
No, it's very simple. 2 times 98 equals 2 times 100 minus 2 times 2. That's 200 minus 4, 196. Elementary. 40 days and 40 nights, didn't it rain, children?
I'm obese, shoot me in the belly.
Look at all the space I'm creating, everybody!
Bad monkey, bad monkey. Oh, you got you baited so hard. I don't think I can handle any more of this bot gameplay.
Spylo.
Alright, let's go. Big stream today. Lots of stuff going on today. Maybe not big as in long, but big as in juicy. If any of you guys come up with an invention for a time machine, just let me know. Okay, we're gonna get right into stream today. So we have one coaching session, we have a raffle for a free roast review, then we're gonna be doing a tier list at some point in time, plus sub games. We got a lot of stuff going on here. Let's go ahead and get started. I legit not even wasting any time today. So we got a lot of fun stuff going today. I'm gonna do a tier list. I got baited into it. I got convinced into it. So I guess we'll do it then. Guitar, can you play Wonderwall? No.
Heck yeah!
No. No.
Yes, it can.
No, I can't. I don't know how to play Wonderwall. Little thing I've ever played.
Do you even play guitar?
Well, yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get started, chat. One VOD review. Hydrate. Thank you. Hey, how's it going?
Oh,
How are you?
Very loud.
Wait, what is it? What is it? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Was I
Yeah,
very loud?
It was
or-
just really loud.
Oh, my bad. I can talk in a whisper if you'd like.
No, I write you down.
Okay. All right, let's get this review started. So I'm getting your form pulled up here. What hero, what rank? I think Ana and Kiriko. But
Plat 5.
Plat 5? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Plat 5, gold 1, sort of.
Okay.
area.
Okay. We'll give you a plat. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna have to do this stupid thing where I actually have to get my stupid face cam situated here because I actually have to use the other overlay because we're not in Overwatch. We're gonna be on like Windows stream, you know, because we're doing it through YouTube. Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with replay codes. I have actually no idea what's going on. So give me one second then. Okay, so what got you interested in coaching?
So I used to be really good at this game. I mean, by really good, I mean not moderately bad. And I used to play on a team, and I understood the game really well. And then I took a long break, and I came back, and I feel very lost in a lot of the things that I'm doing.
Right.
So I just wanted to try and figure it out without having to waste so much time like reviewing my VODs instead of playing the game.
Sure. Okay, sounds good. And then when you say you were really good and with the team and then all that juicy succulent crap, when was that and what caused you to take the break? And I guess just fill me in on your background as a player.
So I was, oh gosh, when was that? So the only thing I can say for sure is I stopped really playing the game like a little bit into Double Shield. I got very, very bored of it. I would say
Shocking,
maybe a couple
really.
of yeah, because I wasn't on a player at that point. I was like almost like exclusively playing
my
Ana.
goodness.
And I just didn't want to play Moira or Lucio, so I just sort of tapered down and then I stopped playing entirely. So I don't know around what time that was, but that's really when I stopped.
I want to say that was like late 2019.
Yeah, that would make
think.
sense because I didn't really touch the game for a couple of years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another casualty. You know, that's about the same time when I started playing and got really into coaching, and actually I think it turned out well. I distinctly remember my last experience being really irritated at how bad Zen was, and I was like, and that was like season 13. So yeah, okay, continue. Sorry.
No, I was on console when that happened. I actually switched to PC for this game, but by the time I started playing on PC, as you can see, it was like I stopped playing Overwatch, so I didn't even really, but that was basically it. I just played like sporadically here, there, but I wasn't really playing that much when I started on PC. So this is like my first like real time like playing the game like consistently since then.
But you were GM. This says in your form.
I reached 4170. That was like my peak.
Brilliant.
Back then. But
Nice.
if you see my videos, you're gonna be like that. Not a GM.
Well,
Not a
I
GM
mean,
anymore.
I was GM as well, so I feel you. Okay, so you took a break. When did you resume? Well, first off, when did you transition to PC, and then when did you kind of resume the grind? Was that Overwatch 2? Was it before? Was it a little bit after? Where were we at?
I swapped to PC before Overwatch 2. I started playing the game again. I would say like there was like this one period of time where I played it for a few months and then I stopped. I don't remember exactly when that was. I would say like 2020, 2021-ish. And then I stopped and I started again recently, like a few months ago, like during Overwatch 2 actually. I think is when I started like really playing again.
Okay. And it was, I assume, just Overwatch 2 that got you back into trying it again, yeah?
Pretty much.
All right.
I was hoping a lot of things were going to be fixed.
Well, what is your impression then?
They did, but there's like a lot of other issues that have come up since, you know, like obviously there's certain heroes like Sojourn that I have like a big issue with, even though I think they did kind of mediate a lot of her issues, but it's still a problem.
Okay.
But other than that, I think it's definitely better.
Okay, that's good to hear. Because you are like, I think you are the target player base. I think as somebody who has played Overwatch, was even good at Overwatch, but got fed up with Blizzard's crap and is coming back, right? Like there's a lot of players that are in that same position, and they need to be winning you over, and hopefully they're trying to do that reasonably well. Okay, so what do you hope to get out of the session? The forum says, I hope to really recognize where my decision making is going wrong and if my mechanics are a real problem. Is that still the case, or do you want to elaborate more on that? Or
My aim has gotten better. So in the videos I sent you, I had honestly I had actually just changed my sense from 7.25 down to 6.
Okay.
So you can
What's
see
your
me a little.
DPI?
It's a 800.
Okay, yeah, that's very balanced.
Yeah, so I had brought it down, so you're gonna see my aim a little bit weird in
That's
these
fine.
videos. My aim, I know, is something that I've been working on and I can work on. So for me, it's more like what I really want to see is like where, if like by positioning my mechanics, I guess. If you notice anything strange about like just anything that
Yeah.
looks like maybe like jiggling my mouse, or because I still have no idea if I'm properly aiming. Like,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, sure. I think like mechanics. I'm trying to think of like what's a good analogy for mechanics. I think mechanics is just like something that just comes with like practice. So what we'll do is when we look at your training schedule, we'll look at like if there's any low-hanging fruit that we could do with your practice to make it more beneficial for a good mechanical practice. But yeah, we'll focus on the actual gameplay itself. So when you say decision making, that's a very broad term. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
So I've noticed that, especially with Ana, who I used to have really good positioning with, I've noticed that like now I tend to stay in fights too long, and then times when I should be aggressive, I'm hiding. So I'm trying to figure out I just want to see if you can maybe recognize what, like, in what situations I seem to be doing that, if it's just like a consistent issue. Also, like, just, I don't know, just sometimes I feel like I'm focused on the wrong person at the wrong time during a fight.
Yeah, I
you know,
see
just
it.
things like that. I don't know, like, I don't really know. I just feel like
Okay.
it's a mess.
So kind of a general thing. Okay. Let's
Yeah.
let's take a look here. So what are your long-term, short-term goals? Short-term is to get master's level competency, long-term GM. Okay. Let's look at your training schedule then. So typical training week before I play, and obviously just let me know if any of this has changed. Before I play, I warm up with Kiriko aim using a headshot only custom. For Ana, I use another custom for tracking and flicks. During the week, I'll play anywhere from 2 to 4 hours per day. So let's start with that aim training stuff. How long are you doing the Kiriko headshot only, and then how long are you doing the Ana custom tracking and flicks?
Around 5-10 minutes. I don't do it for that long. I will do it longer depending on, once my brain gets tired is when I stop doing aim training, because then I know I'm not getting anything out of it.
Right.
So I'll just, it really depends. Like some days I'll spend 20 minutes if I really feel like, you know, I'm really like excited about training my aim. But so yeah, anywhere 5 to 20 minutes depending on the day.
Each, or 25 to 20 minutes total?
I would say total.
Okay. I have a suggestion, and I'm gonna be and when you say on a custom, can you give me these codes really fast?
Oh god, really fast? Hold on. Oh.
Because I'm
The
pulling.
custom
I want to try them.
Oh, okay. So I actually have to like go in.
Can you do that where you're at right now?
Yeah.
Okay. If not, it's okay.
The Ana custom one I use is the one that ML7 uses. Oh gosh, I wish I had the. I can actually grab it. Yeah, give me a real quick
Perfect.
second.
I'm getting my because I'd like to try this out and let you know what I think.
Okay.
Okay. Create.
All right. So. Oh gosh, alright, so I think it's on a daily?
It's fine. I'm
I have
skimming.
so many custom games.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm skimming through your form as we speak anyway, so it's all right.
Oh god, this might take too long.
If it's too long, don't worry about it. Think it might take too long?
I think I have a screenshot of when I sent them to people, but yeah.
Okay, don't worry about it then. So, describe to me the Kiriko and Ana one really quick for me. Like, how does it function? Because you just said the headshot, but kind of give me some more info on like how it actually works.
So the Kiriko one I've been using is the one that most people use. It's like a really popular one right now. It's where it's just like there's bots that move in a very, not like an AI way, they move in a more of
Realistic fashion?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And I just set that one to headshots only,
Okay.
and I just practiced hitting headshots.
Okay. Okay. Seems reasonable. And the Ana one?
Yeah. The Ana one is the one I saw in ML7 stream years ago. It's what I first used to improve my aim. And so it's like, how do I even explain it? There's moving Ana bots, I guess, at different distances away, and I just practice like tracking them and flicking them
Okay.
on like a
Okay.
timed thing, so I can
Okay.
see like how fast I complete it, and that's how I kind of like gauge how good my aim is at that time.
Okay. Okay. Seems fine. I will say that I think one of the weaknesses of the Kiriko ones that's a little bit problematic is it doesn't feel like an actual dueling trainer. It's just more of a just raw aim. And whenever we practice, we want to practice against something that, even though if they're bots that are moving realistically, especially if it's headshot only, it's not exactly a realistic situation scenario. But that one maybe is okay. My main problem with the Ana one, though, is specifically the fact that it's just Ana bots. So that's not a hitbox that is a hitbox that's important to practice shooting, but it is only one of the hitboxes that is important to practice shooting. Whereas you also have to worry about Genjis and Tracers and Sombras and Hanzos and things like that. You kind of see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
what I would recommend is, are you familiar with Tryhard Deathmatch?
Yes.
Okay, I would try to incorporate that whenever you possibly can. That's going to be superior to both of the things that you're doing right now. If the lobbies are dead or the lobbies just aren't active, then don't waste any time. Go right to the codes that you're currently doing now and just use that as a bit of a warm-up. Or utilize the Vaxta code. Are you familiar with the Vaxta code?
That is one of the ones I use.
Okay, perfect. That one's fine too. So that's an okay, but I think especially for support players, having actual practice on like beating people in duels is like super valuable, and I recommend that if those lobbies are up at any point in time. Make sense?
Okay.
And you can do it for the exact same amount of time that you normally do, 10-20 minutes, something like that, and then jump into game. If there is no tryhard deathmatch, jump into your Vaxta code or whatever you're doing with your Kiriko Ana, and then use that, and then from there go into ranked. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay. Somebody in chat's talking about like Ana paintball, but even Ana paintball is like, while it's definitely good mechanical practice, I don't know if it's the best mechanical practice. It's just Ana hitboxes. You know what I'm saying?
So I have done Ana paintball. Actually, when I first climbed to GM with Ana, I used pretty much all the things you're saying. Like I did a lot of free for all at first, or just to
Yeah.
sort of get my aim up. And once I did, then I used a lot of Ana paintball, just to like kind of have my reaction speeds. That was more
Sure.
of the reason I used that one
Sure.
for more than anything.
Sure.
But yeah, so I've
Sure.
used like pretty much I use other aim trainers too. I'm not gonna list like all of them, but
Okay,
I do.
okay.
I've used a lot.
Okay,
I've
fair
used
enough.
a lot.
To me, it's like the thing with aim training is it's like. Here's the thing: is it's like exercise. There's a trillion exercise programs out there. Some of them are over specialized, some of them are kind of silly, some of them are goofy. But doing exercise is generally good for you. It doesn't matter what you do. However, oftentimes the basics, the good things, the things that like actually are the best. There are good programs and there are bad exercise programs. Doing a bad exercise program is better than doing nothing, but it doesn't mean it's not necessarily the best. You kind of see what I'm saying? Ana paintball, for example, is like a lot of fun. I used to love Ana paintball, and it's definitely good at building some mechanics with your sleep dart and with your quick scopes especially, but it's not Overwatch. It's just a custom game. I remember one of my buddies back in the day, good old Dave. I haven't talked with him actually in a while. He was probably, no exaggeration, the world's best Ana paintball player. He was literally beating Overwatch League players and Ana support Ana players in Ana paintball. He was phenomenal. But he was only like a low GM player, like high masters player, in terms of even mechanics. Like his mechanics were good, but his mechanics were specifically good at Ana paintball, because Ana paintball mechanics is a specific type of skill set, right? It's really good at quick scoping on immovable targets, almost like a Widowmaker kind of an aim style, right? But it's not exactly something when you're dueling tracers that's going to carry over super well. Okay. Let's so just keep that in mind, and then during the week you play anywhere from 2 to 4 hours per day. Is that just ranked? Is that ranked in quick play? Is that just support? How does that generally split up?
Yeah, so it's funny because I watched a lot of your previous VODs before I asked for coaching, and I saw that you had mentioned to play I think you said 2 hours of like competitive, like focused play.
Right.
So I've been doing that to make sure
Good.
that like I do play quick play, but I made sure I've gotten in like a few hours of like actual like ranked.
Good.
So,
Okay. So I think we've definitely assaulted and knocked out some of the low hanging fruit here. So I'm confident that at the very least you've got a pretty good foundation. Sounds like you had a pretty decent training schedule already. Maybe some of the aim training or warm up adjustments will be a little bit helpful. But besides that, I think we're probably okay. Hero pool is just on a Kiriko. That looks good too. Sleep is definitely on the low end here. Now, I assume you have a pretty busy schedule in general.
I mean, yeah, I work, 8 to 5, so
Right,
there's
right,
that.
right.
So I get home and I go to the gym at 6. So yeah, 6 in the
crazy.
morning. So I have to because I won't do it in the afternoon.
Right,
So yeah,
right.
I'm sleeping, like I could sleep a bit more, but yeah, I know my sleep's a little on the low side.
Okay. I will say this, and this is going to be the Overwatch coach scalding take. I would rather you play 2 to 3 hours per day and get 6.5 hours of sleep than for you to play 2 to 4 hours and get 5 hours of sleep.
Fair.
And not just from a life health better for you in the long run, but also even just your Overwatch skill, like your ability to focus in for those intense 2 hours that you just brought up, right? That's going to be dependent upon that sleep. So I really, really, really encourage you to try and and remember the thing with sleep too is it doesn't have to be perfect. Any improvements, 5 to 6 is a significant percentage improvement, right? So that's 20% more sleep. Utilize that. Strongly recommend that. Without coming across like your father, with the lights off.
Yeah, no, fair.
Okay.
No, I know.
All right.
I tell myself it too, so I feel that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna back yourself up. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Last question here. What do you feel is holding you back in? Oh boy, this is a nice little paragraph we got here. I love when people answer these questions thoroughly. Thank you so much. It is tough to say. Partly mentality. I used to be a 4200 level player on Xbox. Since swapping to PC, I have an issue with the way they play this elo, and since I haven't played consistently enough, I feel that I've developed some bad habits. I also don't know if I'm aiming correctly. I used to be I may be using arm aim too often. I'm not really sure. My mechanics are decent. My positioning is on pretty good, but I feel like so many games are unable no matter how well I play, which leads me to believe that there's definitely a lot I am doing wrong. Okay, yeah. So first off, I sympathize. I was also like 4130. I don't remember exactly what SR I quit playing ranked at, but I was like low GM player for about a season or two, just to say I did it, and then I quit to focus on coaching. And since then, this season I think I started playing ranked, or the season before I started playing ranked a little bit more, not very much, like 3 or 4 hours a week total. But it's hard. Because especially as a coach, I feel like I understand the game or understood the game really well back when I played it a lot. And now it's like, I'm playing in plat lobbies, I'm playing in plat and diamond lobbies, and it's like it's a hit on the ego, but it's also frustrating because sometimes I see stuff that is just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Do you ever feel like that sometimes?
Yeah, well, yes, but I think it's more like because I'm not as proficient on M&K as I was on controller, I can't carry enough.
Right.
I can't carry enough to make those games winnable, so I get really, really frustrated, and I think I make a lot of mistakes trying to carry but not being able to because my mechanics aren't there.
Right.
So yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
Right. Okay. And I think the other issue is it's like, I think there are having mechanics allows you to carry in other aspects here. And then going for plays that would work if you had the mechanics for it, and then failing because you don't have the mechanics, I don't think that's necessarily a problem, especially if you're consistent with your playtime and with your aim training. You will eventually get the mechanics to where you can make those plays. But the problem with that is oftentimes those type of plays are just excuses for just stupid brain dead plays to begin with. In other words, if you're going on a hard flank into the enemy backline for no reason as Ana and going for a play where if I had perfect mechanics, I'd one shot everybody and land the sleeper, but that's just a stupid play regardless of whether you have the mechanics for it or not. You're putting yourself in impossible situations. So I guess that's the question for me. That being said, I'm also a huge advocate of aggressive Ana play, so I guess we'll just have to look at the gameplay for context here. Positioning on Ana is pretty good. The arm aiming thing I wouldn't worry too much about. I don't specifically do aim coaching. I know IOStux does. He might be able to help you a little bit more with that specifically, but I don't think that unless you're like your wrist is bent at like a 90-degree angle and you have like 4 books underneath your elbow and you're doing like the wave as every time you move your mouse, I think you're probably okay. especially with the sensitivity that you told me, which is probably healthy. 4.8K is good. I feel like so many games are unwinnable no matter what I play, which leads me to believe there's a lot I'm doing wrong. Probably the case. Are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, but I do want to remind you again, and chat, the Kiriko game that you're gonna see, I had just changed my sense literally 5 minutes before.
Oh my
So
goodness.
don't judge me too harshly.
Oh my
I had
goodness.
just changed it,
Oh
so it
my
looks
gosh.
weird.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's perfectly normal. I'm gonna pull up your YouTube VOD now. So your YouTube VOD, your channel does have your name in it. So I'm gonna try and full screen so we don't dox you.
Yeah, please.
I'm gonna try and make sure that we get that done.
I did it last night when I realized that they had finally
Thank you
deleted
so much.
my VOD.
Thank you so
so
much.
I was like, ah!
Thank you so much
Yeah,
for doing
no
this
problem.
because it would have been a disaster. I don't know what's going on with replay codes, but I'm very, very frustrated. Okay, let's make sure we go full screen here. And then let me actually stream it over Discord here. I'm going to pull up Epic Pen, but I actually don't think I'm going to. I'm going to do without Epic Pen here. Okay, we'll do the on one first. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Alrighty, let's do this. And you said the Kiriko one doesn't have audio?
No.
Okay,
For
that's
some
fine.
reason, I
That's
just didn't
fine.
record it with it.
Sexy Jutsu.
Jitsu.
Jitsu. Sorry, my bad. I should know better. Oh, I didn't even see. Yeah, see. I should know better. Okay. So let's talk about this. What is Ana good at? Where is Ana's value? What is the hero strong at?
Man, so many things. I mean, she's a really good long range healer. Her antis are huge. Her sleeps are huge. Getting a big purple's one of her main things to help win the
Yes.
team fight. Well,
Agreed.
used to be anyway.
Agreed.
Still
Agreed.
can be.
Huh.
And then like big sleeps and sometimes just sleeps that save a teammate are
Sure.
game changing.
Sure. I mean, the big ones for me is definitely the anti and the ability to heal on range, and the ultimate's pretty good too. I think, like, even if Suzu is still considered a thing, which it is obviously, the ability to force a Suzu with an anti is good, and especially because Nate is on a lower cooldown. Theoretically, if you're good at landing impactful antis, you can still have power. And I think if you look at your composition right now, for example, you're running on a Kiriko with a Sigma. You're not going to need to be doing a ton of healing. You kind of see what I'm saying? This isn't a Reinhardt with a Lucio, or this isn't a Winston with a Zenyatta. This is a Kiriko who also does a metric butt ton of healing, right? And a Sigma.
Yeah.
So you definitely need to be healing your tank and your DPS. That's a big priority. However, there's a lot of opportunity for offensive pressure too. You got to see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I think, to me, whenever I load into an Ana game, my first priority is like, how am I going to be getting value out of antis? So you look at the enemy comp, there's nothing that's going to be diving you to defensively nade. No Genji, no Tracer, no Winston, no nothing like that. So what are you thinking about with your nade? What are you looking for?
So here I'm trying to I think in this game I am using it exclusively offensively, which I tried to do.
Sure.
So I'm trying to hit big antis, but right now I can't really see where anyone is, so I'm just kind of like.
Right, it's just a big kind of a blur, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
Here's a question: who do you anti? This is more of a theoretical, no real clear answer, but think about it. What are some factors you consider when you anti?
I mostly consider where my team is to follow up on it. And if I can hit multiple targets at once, I usually try to go for those. So it's I feel like I get a lot more value out of it.
Let me actually close off stream here for just a second, because I want to stream something on Paint here, because I want to bring to light something that I think might be helpful here. Because when we're deciding about how and who to anti, I think we have to understand how pressure works. So if you were to describe pressure, what is pressure, right? Because anti puts out pressure, obviously. So what is pressure?
I understand what pressure is, but how do I define pressure? It's forcing forcing the enemy to make an action or react to something that you do in a sense that they maybe don't want. Doesn't really allow. It kind of prevents them from just doing whatever they want to do.
Sure. It's. I think a good way of putting out pressure is exactly what you're saying. Is like they want to do something, but you're not allowing them to do that. And the reason why they're not allowed to do that is, I think that the way I define pressure is that there's always the threat of a kill. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to get killed, but there's a threat of a kill. For example, the easiest way of thinking of pressure is Widowmaker hits a headshot. a Widowmaker doesn't hit a headshot, but if you see a Widowmaker scoping in on a location, you're scared to peek it because you're scared that you might die, right? When you get hit by an anti-nade, you understand that that is damage on me and I can't get healed. I might die because of this anti-nade. You kind of see what I'm saying? That's pressure. So as Ana, if we look at anti-nade and its ability to put pressure, if you were the Ana here, okay, where is my paint skill? Hello? Okay, there we go. If I'm Ana here, okay, and this is the enemy team. Let's make them orange because why not? Okay, this is the enemy tank. This is the enemy support back here. You know, this is a DPS over here. Who do you anti?
Okay, so repeat the scenario.
So this is a tank. Let's say tank. This is a support here. Tank here. Supports back here. DPS over here. You have anti-nade as Ana. Who do you anti? This is a tough question.
Supports would probably be the ones you'd want to anti to make them go back, so they can't heal their tank.
Ah, very good. So here's the thing: you can do one of many things. You can do. I'm going to notice the color we're going to use here: purple, the tank, so that we can kill the tank. Correct?
Yeah,
that's a possibility. We can easily follow up on the tank because he or she is right in front of us. Right. Okay.
Right.
But if you anti the backline, what is that backline going to do if they're anti? Now, there's a threat of a kill if they're antied, right? If you hit, let's say, an anti and you hit a body shot on them and maybe your Sojourn throws out her E or you get any sort of follow-up damage, that support might die. But no, what do? They just back behind the cover, right? So then it's like, crap, we can't get a kill on the target. So why would I waste anti-nade on a target that I know I can't kill? Why would you do that? What did you just say?
Sure. Why would I waste it?
Yeah, why would you use it on? Why would you use it on a target that you can't get a kill?
Just to cause pressure on them to make them back up. Yeah.
Exactly. Because if they back up, how much pressure are they doing on your team? If let's say you anti the Ana and she has to run behind a wall, what is that Ana no longer doing?
She's no longer healing.
And what else is she no longer doing?
Damage.
And what else does she no longer have a threat of doing now? What can she not use when she's behind a wall?
Sleep anti.
Or anti, right? Or even nano, right? So everything in her kit is gone. So then who is the killable target, even though you antied these targets, right?
The tank.
The tank. So that's the question. Is antiing a backline better for killing the tank than antiing the tank itself? You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the same question for the DPS. If I anti the DPS, that DPS may or may not die, but then that DPS stops DPSing for a period of time, and we take a 5v4 for about 4 seconds. And maybe they have to put in extra resources and extra attention to help their DPS out. Does that allow me to kill the tank? And here's another question. This is where we get even crazier, right? What if I have like a dive comp and I anti the tank so that the tank has to play slow, but we actually go for the backline, who's now exposed because the tank is doing nothing? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
sure.
this is the reason why this is important, is because this is the decision making that goes into using your anti. You have to kind of look at like who's going to be which anti is going to put out the most pressure. Now, all that being said, let's actually look at our VOD here. Let me close down stupid Microsoft Paint here. And let's look at, and you're going to have to look at on a case-by-case basis, too. You're not going to be able to just make a rule. See, people always ask me, who should I use anti-nade on, right? Who should I save Sleep Dart for? But do you see how that question is inherently flawed?
Yeah.
You don't know. Depends on the situation,
exactly.
Right? So, like, right now, you look for an anti-nade. Why are you anti-ing Sigma right now? What else?
I wanted him to back up around the corner.
Right. What else can you see right now?
Nothing.
So you're just going to use your anti-nade on what's available. And again, like the way you even described it right there was perfect. It wasn't to get the kill. It was to make him back around the corner. So you create space by using the anti. Brilliant. It doesn't hit, but that's the mentality.
Yeah, it doesn't hit, but but
that's the mentality.
No.
Right.
The intention was correct.
The intention was correct. Now, I will say the intention also has to factor in, will you get an easier anti than 2, 3, 4 seconds? You kind of see what I'm saying? So you chuck your nade now, but why chuck your nade now when you can literally walk up to, can you see my mouse?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you can literally walk up to these boxes immediately and land an easier nade. Do you kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
So why nade? Why nade then? Right? And you can literally walk
that's a good
forward
point.
and in 2 seconds and land an easier nade, because that's a very difficult nade. That's not a mechanical problem. You're making it too hard yourself. And here's an even better thing. So I don't know if you can see it right here, but this is a Cassidy right here. Okay. So we're counting the pixels, but this is a Cassidy right here. How much pressure is an anti-nade on a Cassidy standing on top of his Sigma?
Pretty big.
You see what
right?
I'm saying? Right. If a tank and a DPS are both equally aggressive, one of them is squishier than the other one. Do you kind of see what I'm saying? So one of them is going to have to respect the anti-nade a lot more, which means that person might die, or that person is literally going to run screaming for his life, whereas an anti-Sigma is going to have to be respectful, but maybe he's okay. And again there, shield. So this one's just more of a... You need to understand the matchup better. You know what I'm saying? Look for the shield. You know there's a 2-second delay between shields, right? So then what should you be looking for with your anti-nade? You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I should be looking for that.
Right.
That exact delay to throw.
Right. Because his shield doesn't have, like, he can't shield forever. You're going to get a guaranteed anti-nade. Nice sleep dart. And, like, right now, guaranteed nade. And there it is. And you can see at the top right of your screen,
Yeah.
there's the Cassidy, there's the Sigma, there's the Suzu, there's the Shift, there's the Shield. Theoretically, we should be able to cross the bridge pretty soon now. Nice job.
Yeah.
And that's the Ana carry right now, is where you landed an anti, you landed a sleep dart, and that's allowed your Sigma to walk so far forward. It's allowed your Torbjorn to walk so far forward. There's another anti. They don't have Suzu for this one. The sleep dart doesn't hit, but look at the Sigma. 1 HP, you guys easily cross, and so on. And there's the Suzu as well, but the Suzu's too late, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is where we get really, really, really interesting with our anti-nades. Okay, so look at your Sigma right now. You can see him right here, right?
Yes.
Critical. So what's priority right now?
Healing him.
Right. Why is it priority healing him?
Because I don't want my tank to die.
Okay, and why?
The push is pretty much done.
Right, and why do you need him full as well? Because what do you want to do with your anti-nade, right?
I want to be able to use it offensively.
Right. You want to be able, and where's your follow-up for your offensive nade going to be?
My tank. Yeah.
Right, so you need your tank to be as close to full. Now, if they're pushing on top of your tank and you can land an anti-nade to stop them from pushing your tank, then that's going to be great. But that's not really what's happening right now. Your tank is safe. Just heal them up and then look for your anti. In addition to that, shield again. You see this?
Yeah.
Like every time
I've noticed that problem.
Right. Every time a Sigma shields your anti-nade, or a Diva, for example, matrixes your nade, or a Reinhardt shields your nade, you should really feel bad about yourself. Because that is an unbelievably cheap trade, right? Suzu is not a cheap trade for them. That is an excellent trade for you. Shield is nothing. Shield is nothing. He's going to recall it almost immediately. You did a whopping 60 damage or whatever to his shield. That sucks. Be patient. The opportunity will present itself. He actually misses the shield just barely, but it ends up hitting the Kiriko and Narnia, who's under no threat of dying, right? Remember we talked about support pressure, right? But this Kiriko is
she has nothing
so
on her.
she's not really killable or pressurable, so she doesn't care. She doesn't need to Suzu. She doesn't need to do anything different than she's already doing. Meanwhile, look at this Moira right here. Look at this Cassidy right here. Do you see this? These guys are playing way, way, way too aggressive. If you anti-nade this, holy crap. You know what I'm saying? Holy,
yeah.
Like, oh my goodness.
Hello? Okay, my PC just turned off randomly, and I don't know why.
So, here's my question for you.
Okay.
I respect the offensive aggression. What have our consistent problems been so far through this VOD, though?
It looks like, I don't know, more rushing my cooldowns.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Yeah, exactly. It's been mostly like for example, right here. Unfortunate, your Widowmaker dies. That sucks. That really stings. You slept out a shield.
Yeah, well, so I was anticipating it going down. I was hoping I could hit somebody. To be fair, I wasn't just throwing it like that.
True, but did you need to do anything cute with your anticipation or anything? No. You're good. You could have just waited. That's a good anti-nade. You hit the Sojourn. Sojourn's playing aggressively, so what's the Sojourn going to have to do now?
Back up.
Back up, and that's exactly what she does. And there's the Suzu on it as well, and they actually have to Kiriko hold it as well. So this fight is lost. Your Widowmaker just dies almost immediately. But I think reasonable. Just needed to actually not sleep shields. Again, nade is probably fine there. I think that actually they Suzu it again. Kiriko is a little bit too quick on the trigger with her Suzus. I think her waiting more would be better. Okay, so let's stop right here. What do you think about the timing of this nade? The placement and the timing. It's hard to see here with the pixels, but you see your tank's positioning.
Man. So, placement's good.
Mm-hmm.
I got 3 of them, which is good in their Kiriko. I can tell from here their Kiriko is low.
Does this pressure actually matter?
Okay.
Does this pressure actually matter? Will they have? Are they in a position to where they could be shot right now?
That's the thing. I can't really tell from here, but maybe not.
Okay. I think
maybe it does.
I mean, look at your positioning. Okay, you could shoot them. The more important thing is look at your Sigma's positioning right now.
He can definitely follow up for sure.
So then, is this good? Is this well-timed pressure?
Yes.
Yes. And you could even nano your Sigma here. I think you could also use your nano defensively here. I think you've got options. We haven't really talked much about nano, but there will be follow-up here. And probably would not have nanoed once the Kiriko was already dead and once your Sigma was already in flux. I think this was excessive. Because we've used now 3 ultimates in a fight that was probably already won. Because this anti is massive. This Torbjorn ult that has just killed their Kiriko is massive. Now we're also flexing. Do you think the enemy team is going to survive this?
No, that's a good point.
It's over. It is over. And the reason, and it's always about the next fight, right? It's not about obviously we win this fight now. Sometimes it's okay to overuse ultimates, but right now there's a real. Oh my gosh, we Kiriko ulted. Oh Nelly, that's not good. We're in a really bad.
You see me looking around because I was like, why did she just ult?
To be fair, yours was almost as bad though.
I know. Yeah.
That's rough. Nice shot. That's actually a really, really big kill because that's a nasty stagger. You guys might be able to cap now. All right, there's shield. Nice nade. I think you could have waited a little bit longer and gone for the Cassidy in the back once their shield dropped because he was gonna have to drop shield there. Yeah, because now they're gonna. Because I would love a nade right now. Do you kind of see what I'm saying? I think here's my question. Here's right. A lot of nade value has to be done. Is there follow up, and is that target going to be under a lot of pressure when I nade it? For example, look at the Sigma right now. Do you see the Sigma's positioning? How would you describe his positioning right now on a scale of how aggressive he is?
Mine?
No, the enemy Sigma.
Theirs is pretty aggressive. I mean, well, yeah, he's up in the he's up.
Sure.
Pushed up.
He's pushed up. Do you know the status of his shift or his cooldowns?
Well, we know his shield is up. Is eat? No, I actually didn't see.
Right. So this is something that you can consider with a lot of tanks, is just consider whether they have their defensive cooldowns, because the problem is that if you nade this and he gets put under pressure, what's he going to do?
Just back up.
Right, and he's going to use what cooldown as a Sigma?
He'll use eat while he's backing up.
Right,
He's like
right.
very, very low.
Now I'm going to ask you a question: is nade for Sigma shift a good cooldown trade?
Maybe.
It's not bad, but it's not. But I would say it's a net neutral.
Yeah.
Whereas a trade for a Suzu is positive, right?
Yeah.
So this is the question: is this a good nade, or is this a bad nade, or is this a meh nade, neutral nade?
I think it's a meh. I think it's a meh nade.
Right. Because he's not in a position or a situation to where you're going to actually secure the kill on him. He's still got his shift. You're not going to be able to get the kill on this guy. It's not going to happen. So
yeah.
What we would prefer is a slightly better nade. So what would a slightly better nade look like?
Probably on his back line.
Sure. Or him
or
plus
after
one
he
target.
used his cooldown.
Right. Or Sigma plus one target. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah,
If you can
fair.
hit,
Right,
if you
right,
can
yeah.
hit a Sigma and a Cassie like we saw earlier, big value. Sigma and a Moira, if you get a shift and a fade, that's a fine trade.
Yeah,
we'll take that. You know
that's
what I'm saying? And what ends up happening is there's the shift off of the shift, or off of the what am I saying? Off of the nade. By the way, you also use Sleep Dart into his shift as well. So there's the shift, and you go for the sleep. We got to break these habits when it comes to these tank matchups.
Yeah.
But then right here, massive nade opportunity. It's really kind of hard to see, but there's at least 1, 2, 3 targets you would have hit. I think Cassidy, Sigma, and Moira you would have hit with nade. Not great, right? And then also like we talked about the Sleep Dart as well. Lots of cooldowns just basically being completely negated. Here comes the nade, and there it is. Again, it's only on tank. What I would prefer you to do is, do you see how like it's really hard to see? I know right now, but do you see all these reds right here? Mm-hmm. Do you see how they're all playing aggressively?
Yeah, they would be a definitely better target.
So then, who should you be nading? Sigma? No. Anybody but Sigma. The reason why you nade tanks more often than other targets is why?
They're bigger hitboxes and they're like up front.
Right, exactly. But who's up front right now? Everybody.
Everyone.
So if you could pick and choose, you might go for Sojourn, you might go for Cassidy, you might go for right. You see what I'm saying? So the Sigma might be the last target that you would anti-nade, and that's exactly the target you do anti-nade. Now it's not a bad anti-nade. There's going to be follow-up there. It's just another one of those we would describe as mid nades, right? Meh nades.
Yeah,
It's not bad. It's not bad. Just not that good. Here comes a Sleep Dart into a shift again. Another shift. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So these are the low-hanging fruits. There's an anti-nade on the Sigma, and he's definitely more aggressive than his team. I mean, his team's basically dead, so that was easy. Your mechanics, by the way, are fine. They're certainly like a lot of these shots are actually quite good. So you're doing a fine job. Check that nade. You missed. I say that as you miss a nade. I spoke too soon. But truly, your mechanics are honestly not bad.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're not the worst, but I there's just certain things that feel like uncomfortable to me, and I wonder if that's
right.
on me, or,
I think the best way to describe these kind of matchups is you're like, are you under a lot of threat of like, I don't know, a dive or a Genji or a Tracer or a Winston? I mean, no, right? So then if you're not landing impactful sleeps and anti-nades, or even just, I guess, damage shots and squishies, then you're not doing much. You kind of see what I'm saying? Like, it's really easy to play games like these and be like, I didn't die like the whole map. Why did we still lose? But you're under, like, what's going to kill you in the enemy comp? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing
There's
to
not much
kill you.
pressure on me.
Right. So then if you're not landing impactful anti-nade sleeps and shots, then you are going to be performing a lot, doing basically nothing that their Moira's not just doing better, right? Like, imagine if this Moira was a Zenyatta, you know what I'm saying? Holy crap, you would need to be landing anti-nades, because that Moira's Discord and just mashing her face across mouse 1 at your General Sigma's direction is just by default going to be doing more than anything you do. So you have to actually find impactful nades, not just mid, but impactful nades and impactful sleep darts, because I don't like using the word carry, but let's just use the word pressure, right? That's the most pressure that you can put out. Whereas if you're playing versus a dive comp, you being able to sleep, nade, defend yourself by staying alive is going to be immense value. Staying alive is not going to be hard here. Anti-nade. Is there going to be pressure and follow-up off of this anti-nade right now? Let's go back a little bit.
There is pressure, I feel like, is making them back up.
Yeah. Is there going to be a better opportunity for an anti-nade? Briefly.
Yeah.
When? Where?
I'm thinking when we round that corner, there would be a better opportunity.
Okay.
Because right now, like, not many people have, like, LOS on the enemy team.
True. So are you going to have anti-nade by the time that you round the corner? You personally?
I would think so, right?
Okay. So maybe then this anti-nade is okay. Not every single anti-nade needs to be super impactful. You can anti-nade their spawn door if you're going to have it. But when those impactful moments happen, you need to have the anti-nade. I mean, that's the thing, is it's like a lot of quote unquote carrying, and by the way, this applies to every hero, Kiriko included, is sometimes you can feel like you're putting out good general pressure, but those crucial moments in the fight when you needed to have that cooldown or you needed to land that cooldown, if you're not doing it, you're trolling the lobby. Unfortunately, the way Overwatch works sometimes is that you could be doing good, but those good moments only account for 30-40% of the value that you can get as a hero. It's those 3 crucial team fights where a good Ana would land that big anti-nade and you missed it, or you just chunked the sleep dart into Sigma Shift that you didn't get value out of it. Those were the moments where we needed Ana to step up and you weren't there. So sometimes consistency isn't always enough. Sometimes you need to be clutch in those moments. Like right now, this anti-nade is fine, but I don't really care about this anti-nade. Anybody could land this anti-nade. I'm more curious about what's going to happen in 7-8 seconds from now. You kind of see what I'm saying? Because we could predict that something very important is going to happen. Okay, what do you think about your nano? What are you thinking? Prepare. Always prepare with nano, right?
So honestly, I try to, and this time I was thinking I like to use nano defensively a lot unless I have like a real offensive like
sure,
like you know,
I respect
say,
it.
like a Genji or something.
Yeah.
That I can use it with.
Okay,
but,
sounds good.
In this case, I'm actually thinking a little bit about my Symmetra because of the pressure that she can provide.
Okay.
And she melts shield and
sure, seems reasonable. So then,
she's
when would
playing
you
with
nano
our
your Symmetra?
team, so.
When would you nano her
When
Symmetra?
it really depends. I'm trying to look for either us getting a pick and trying to just push through and finish them quickly.
Okay.
It really just depends. I'm looking for like the right time where she can actually get value out of it.
That's a great way of putting it. Yep. To where she doesn't have to chase. The value is just kind of there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Obviously, her lack of range is a problem. Okay. So there's our Flux. I think this nano is very reasonable. Look at her positioning, right?
Yeah.
This seems like this nano should get value. And there it is. Nice shot. Sleep dart doesn't hit, but that's good. That nade kind of sucks, but I guess whatever. Everything, what's ironic is everything but the nade was quite good there. I think the sleep dart obviously wasn't quite there, but like the shot was good, the nano was good. You did a good job. And you know what? We can look at that as like one of those crucial moments. You know, if you're not quick on the draw, that nano there, does that Symmetra die? And do you lose the fight? Right?
Probably.
I mean,
she might have.
There's a real chance of it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was a good nano. Okay, so they're on Reinhardt just to make things more interesting. Now, how do you play Ana into Reinhardt? What you're doing right now is the exact problem with the hero, right? So everyone's like everyone tries to like big brain the Reinhardt with nade, but it's the exact same thing with Shatter. Don't try and big brain the Reinhardt. Just go around, right? There's nowhere to go around right now necessarily, or is there? Where should you be right now?
I guess I could play in the room on the right.
At least start in the frame, so we'll get to the frame where we can actually see it. Like just play right here where my mouse is and look for any backliners that walk forward, or just nade the Ryan behind and make it so that he can't touch, right? Is it going to get a kill on the Reinhardt? No, but it's going to put that P word, right? It's going to put out that pressure that's going to prevent him from being able to touch, right?
Yeah, I hear them touching is the big issue. It's not really securing a kill on him that we're really thinking.
Now,
about.
I think I respect what you're doing. That's like the best compliment I can give here. It does look like you're trying to nade backline, go past the Reinhardt shield, which seems to be probably the best option. But you just missed it, right? You just missed it. I think you guys are good though. Yeah. We cap. Okay. Nice. Probably too close scoped. We talked about crucial moments, right? This is one. You see it? Reinhardt's on top of you. He's dead. He should be dead. You miss the sleep dart. You miss the nade. Does that Reinhardt live? Does that Reinhardt die? He dies. But that was a crucial moment right there. Those are the moments where if they pop an ultimate there, they pop Cole, they pop their own Kiriko ultimate. Right. Those are the fights where like you have to be clutch for those.
So what about my positioning there? Is my
close.
Positioning there too forward? It is, right? Yeah.
Too forward. Like it's not just too forward because we just talked about how we wanted you like flanking here, right? It's too
but that makes sense.
Right, but it's you controlling your fate. You go here. If you want to back off, you can back off. This feels. If I'm a Reinhardt and I'm on top of an Ana like this, it's my lucky day. You know what I'm saying?
If he was better, I'd probably be dead.
Exactly. You would be dead, right? So, or at the very least, you'd be put under so much pressure that you'd have to bio-nade yourself, and that's not what we want, right? So you're gonna have to be creative. But the nice thing is looking at their composition. Assuming you don't run into a Cassidy in a dark room, you're gonna have a lot of freedom with where you want to go. You don't have to worry about Tracer like gatekeeping. You're not gonna have to worry about all that kind of foolishness. So, I respect the battle Ana. Always have the ego. like this positioning is pretty good if you can land the sleep, if you can land the nade, right? Because do you see how like for them to pressure this teammate here, they have to walk directly in front of you and turn their backs to you. You see?
Which is great for me.
Which is it, right?
If I use my cooldowns correctly.
right. Now this is really,
that could be huge.
But what's funny about this is the obvious one is that you chunk the sleep dart here. But look at this here. Where the real mistake here, I would argue, was this right here. You see that?
Wait, I think that on stream, it's
a little blurry
behind what I'm hearing you say. Because I have your stream muted. I'm listening to you in Discord, so I think it's like.
Oh, you're not watching the Discord stream?
No.
Oh, is it too bad?
I'll try it again.
I mean, it's pretty pixely either way. It's up to you. Just let me know.
Yeah, go ahead, play.
Okay.
It's like the same. Yeah, it is the same.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the main mistake here?
You know,
I killed her.
It's not a mistake. It's not a mistake because I think she's low enough. If you hit this nade, she's dead.
She dies. Yeah. That seems like
however, we can see the cost of not hitting this nade is right. The fight has actually started right now, right? So your pre-fight little skirmish with the Ana unsuccessfully. The fight has now started. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Fight starting. Here we go. Holy crap! You see this?
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the timing of your cooldowns here. I think what you went for in the Ana was fine because there was a real serious opportunity for a kill there.
Mm-hmm.
However, we could see the cost of if you don't make those plays, then you're gonna when the fight actually starts, you really need your cooldowns because this nade, oh my goodness gracious, that's literally a 4-man nade. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that actually would have been huge. That's true.
Right. So I don't want you to second guess that nade on the Ana. That is not my goal with that. My goal is to point out how the timing is so important, right? If you see an opportunity, go for it. But when those opportunities like the Ana don't present themselves, you have to be disciplined with making sure that you have those cooldowns when it actually matters. Like right now, having nade is very, very important because if they walk forward, their backline dies, right? Because you have an angle to nade them. You have an angle to nade them.
Like this is the thing. This is the issue I've been having. There's other like high level top 500 players who have been saying that you should be spamming your cooldowns.
They're idiots.
On Ana.
They're idiots.
And for me, I'm used to playing the opposite. I'm used to thinking about using my cooldowns and like how I can use them more effectively instead of just like spamming them at any given point. So it's like creating this issue where I've thought like since it's like I've been out of the game for a while, maybe plays changed and I'm just doing less by holding them longer.
They're respectfully idiots. No, but basically,
which is why I think I'm rushing them so much because I'm like, oh, I should be using them more now. Like,
the way,
I'm not really sure.
I would put it this way: what I will say is that you need to be actively looking for value out of your cooldowns all the time. You need to like ahead of the fight, before the fight even starts. You need to be thinking, how am I going to get value out of my Bionade? How am I going to get value out of my sleep dart? Do I need to use it defensively? Can I use it offensively? Like that it's the number one priority with Ana. But that doesn't mean you spam it. It might mean you spam it versus in some situations, or it might not. We've already seen it here where, I mean, already multiple times here, we're just spamming it off of cooldown, like on the Sigma, for example, was just meth value, right? And literally 2 seconds later, there were bigger, more impactful pressure nades available. And that's why you don't spam it, right? That's why you don't spam it. So, no, you don't spam it. You do put it as the number one priority on playing Ana. I mean, I guess along with positioning, but like it is not I'm going to use it as many times as I possibly can, because the problem with that is that you will use it more often over the course of the fight, but 3 times 1 is still 3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas 1 impactful nade or 2 impactful nades is not going to be 3 times 1. It might be 1 times 5 or 2 times 5. Right. It's going to have that much more impact. So it's going to actually talk about Nano here. We talk about like, this is why obsession over targets isn't always healthy, because we talk about like Nano and Symmetra. Okay, that's a good target in Nano. But I want you to look at your composition, look at your team right now. Who's the best Nano target right now? If you're going to try and play to win this fight, which is reasonable.
My Sigma.
Right, why?
Right. Because he's in the front right now.
He's in the middle of the enemy team. So whenever we talk about Nano targets, it's either how aggressive is the enemy team on that target, and how aggressive is that target on the enemy team.
On the enemy
If
team,
your
yeah.
Torbjorn's being dove and he's 1 HP, nano him as defensively. Or you nano your Sigma in the middle of the enemy team, who's going to get all the kills and who's under all the pressure in the world right now. You've got one Reinhardt on you, whereas the Sigma is literally 1v4ing right now. So that would be the priority. Or even, was that a Symmetra up there? Who is that? No, is that the Kiriko? Yeah, that's a Kiriko.
So hard to tell because of the pixelation.
It really is. I think that's a Kiriko. Yeah, it's a Kiriko. But yeah, this nano is just, quite frankly, just.
Yeah,
not,
I don't know why I would even nano him.
I don't know. He was just not in a position to get value. And
yeah, like
bless
there's
your heart.
doesn't seem weird.
Yeah. Little
Like
bit,
I'm watching it and I'm not understanding why.
Yeah, it's fine. It might have been just like a mid-fight panic. The sleep dart again.
Maybe.
We talk about crucial moments, right? So you use the sleep dart just because you miss the sleep dart, and then look what happens literally 2 seconds later, and you're dead. Right?
Yeah.
That sucks. This fight is very, 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 very winnable. It's actually still
Yeah,
winnable.
It is.
It's actually funny is it's like that's a great example of when we talked about remember when we tried to nade the Ana in the back line and we missed it, and then we wished we had nade 2 seconds later. That's why you have to be really careful about spamming your cooldowns. Like right now, is a sleep dart in either of these targets impactful? Yes. Is it the right play? Yes, I think so. But you missed it, and so you're gonna die for it. So I guess the takeaway for me there is that you need to settle just a little bit more. You kind of see what I'm saying? Just settle a little bit more. Take, like, with both, I think, your nade and your sleep dart, take a little bit of an extra half a second and just aim it. Just because a lot of your sleep
Definitely
darts,
rushing them.
yeah, especially your sleep darts, you feel very rushed. That's a great nade. This guy's going to survive. Same thing with the sleep dart there, right? You just kind of yeeted it and hoped that it would hit through Ryan Shield, right? It wasn't
I'm
that,
yeeting them a lot.
right? You not only did you have to worry about Ryan Shield there, but you also had to worry about the fact that I think you might have missed the sleep dart entirely, whether he was shielding or not, and that's not good. Okay, let's go, Shirley. Okay. It's fine to nade that. I think like there was a real concern about that person surviving, and you guys aren't actually fighting, so just play to live. Don't stagger. Okay. Again, yeet with the sleep. I don't know if you saw that. Just kind of throwing it at the
Saw
kill.
it, yeah.
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 I really question about whether, even if Ryan Shield wasn't a factor, whether that was going to hit at all.
Yeah, I'm not. It looks like I'm not even taking any time to aim it at all. I'm just like throwing it
No,
out and being like,
no,
"Oh, if you hit
no.
something, good luck."
I will say this as well. As soon as your Ana's full HP, if you had the opportunity to stabilize and set up, where would you set up as Ana right now? Remember the first thing that we talked about is pressure, right? You're going to be your heal botting from right here. There's no opportunities to land any significant cooldown. So what could you do? Look at the enemy comp. Look at the map. What could you do?
So, a lot of the times what I do here, if it like this is kind of like a tense fight, but if it wasn't, I would typically go to the right and try to get a nade behind on the team, and I do that in a lot of different maps.
Yeah.
I have like my
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah.
If they have a Ryan.
What if that Ryan pushes you?
I back up, I might die, but if
And you
I
have your
get a
sleep dart
good
too.
ante, I'm 4
Try-
True.
Sure,
Yeah.
right. You could also try up top here. You'd have to be careful of Cassidy.
Yeah.
Or they're not even on Cassidy anymore. Never mind. So yeah, you have to be careful, but you could peek out top here and go over Ryan Shield and behind Ryan Shield.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. We're on the same page here.
So, at what point in the fight should I be rotating? Because a lot of the time I found myself worrying about the time I'm spending rotating to higher, to different positions to get better angles. And like if that's the time where they would have needed me and they die because I'm up there.
You didn't have time. This is the time right now.
Yeah.
But you didn't have time because this.
Okay.
Okay. So don't worry about it. Okay. Sometimes you're just not going to have time because your teammates are the ones playing aggressive, so you have to enable them instead of playing for your own aggression. So
Right.
it happens, it happens. You can't worry about it. Okay. Yeah, like right now we're just staggering. Out. I think Nano Echo might be good here. But again, obviously
we'll have to pay attention
to the aggression principle, right? Like what we were talking about with our nano target. So let's see. I think right now you have opportunity, and even if you don't necessarily go for the nade, at the very least, try to be. I mean, look what's happening here, right?
I should have rotated here somewhere better for sure.
It actually kind of works out because main ends up being an off angle because everybody rotates through right, so then you stay main. So if this was purposeful, I'm down with it. You know, you actually stay with your echo, but I think this was an accident.
No, I was totally thinking about. No, I think I just was kind of walking.
Okay. Nano Sigma echo here, 100%. Surely. You Nano Bob.
Listen, it was actually the only really good target.
Listen, my only problem with Bob is that I thought for sure they were gonna back out. Like that's the problem with Nano Bob, right? He can't move. But I guess we commit to it here. Come on.
I just should have used Nano earlier, so I forced myself to really.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, I would have used Nano earlier to keep them on the back foot, right? It's all about like the proactive pressure, so that then you're not under so much pressure afterwards. Okay. What are you seeing here?
Just like the most glaring issues are the rushing of the cooldowns. That's probably the ones that's like causing me the most like long-term damage as far as like winning games.
Right.
I'm just rushing them and spamming them for no reason.
Right.
I'm just missing them because of like how quickly I'm also using them without like really even trying to aim them.
Right.
Sometimes my positioning is an issue. Both like offensive and defensive positioning is like my offensive positioning is just not happening. Like I'm not rotating, looking for better usage of my cooldowns, which is something I used to always do. I don't know how I don't know. I guess I just forgot how to play the character. But yeah, those are the main things that I'm seeing that are really big problems, and also just sometimes playing too close.
Yeah, depending on the comp.
Something I tend to be.
Versus the Ryan specifically, it wasn't feeling great. Like, here's the good news though. Okay, so I think your overall, I don't know if this is like the GM habits kind of kicking in, but you're playing the hero correctly. You have like this internal sense of aggression, like where you're really trying to land those offensive nannies. I say. These offensive nanos, you at least tried to position on cover. You would forget frequently, but you had a general idea of playing on cover, landing offensive nanos, landing offensive nades. You have the right idea. You're just not very good at it right now. I think it's the best way of putting it. So I don't think you need to like. It's not. You're not like somebody like one of these Mercy or Moira players that's trying on it and doesn't know. It never looks for nades or never looks for sleep darts or just sits in the back and heals their tank. You know what I'm saying? You definitely have like the aggression principle, which sometimes might mean that your Ashe dies right behind you, or sometimes means that you end up running into the middle of the enemy Reinhardt and and so on. But you're facing the right direction. We just need you to keep making steps. Do you kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think, like you were saying, with the rushing of the cooldown, specifically the sleep dart, you really need to take a careful look at that one. You need to be a little bit more patient with it, not rushing, and you'd be surprised. Well, maybe you wouldn't be surprised at how common that problem is for Ana players. And then in addition to that, I think some of the positioning things that you brought up as well would be worth looking at. And then I guess I wouldn't necessarily change how you're using nade. Just continue to think about what's putting out the most pressure. Can my team follow up on this? Does this nade like actually matter right now? And then adjust accordingly. Because I think we didn't see very many bad nades, but we didn't see very many good nades. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I think the question for me would be why? What was the problem about that? And I think that's something that you have to ask yourself, each time you throw a nade. Do you review yourself much at all?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
So now you know exactly what to look for when you review yourself. You need to look at your you look at your nades, look at your sleep darts, and be like, was this nade actually timed or intended off of something that would actually do pressure, right? Even if it's just one target. And then was I rushing my sleeps? And then if you can answer yes or no to that, then we're good to go. Now, keep in mind that putting out pressure might just be surviving, right? If we're playing into Doomfist Tracer, which is reasonable, right? It's possible. Winston Genji is still possible. Then that changes how you use nade and sleep dart, doesn't it? Then your survivability becomes the primary concern. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, then I see.
Right, and the funny thing is actually landing a sleep dart. Think about it this way: landing a sleep dart on a Doomfist and landing a nade on a diving Genji is keep yourself alive, right? However, how safe is a sleeping Doomfist right?
Yeah.
How safe is it? How safe is a nated Genji, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just to defend yourself. It actually sucks for that target. That target is at a significant higher risk of dying. So it's an offensive and a defensive move, I guess, for lack of a better concern.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. We did not get to your Kiriko, so here's what I'm going to offer up to you. Do you know the replay code rule?
Yes.
Okay, so utilize that for Kiriko if you'd like, or utilize that for maybe some follow-up on your Ana in a couple weeks or a couple months, or both. Doesn't matter to me. We can do both.
Okay, I'd probably do with Kiriko, but yeah.
Yeah, but worst case scenario,
whichever comes up.
Sure. And if you have a tough Ana game, you know, you can, and like I said, you can do both. Like, you can send me, you know, this is an Ana game, this is a Kiriko game. I'd like to look at, you know, 2 timestamps from each or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Sound good?
Yeah, it's great. Thank you.
No other questions?
No. So okay, you said the main things, the 3, like what main 3 things do you think I should like really focus on?
Focus on
ability rushing.
Yes. Well, I would say specifically sleep rushing mostly, but nade rushing a little bit as well. Let's just maximizing the pressure with your nades. We've spent a lot of time talking about that. You understand it, I feel like.
Yes.
So that you can objectively look at each nade and decide, was this a good nade? Rushing your sleep darts, and then, I don't know, there's a couple. We talked a little bit about Nano. We talked a little bit about positioning. What do you think is the most impactful one for you? You know your play better than I do.
Fair. Okay.
You know, and I think that's really heck, you could have 4 things, you know, say, oh, today I'm really gonna be putting some time into preparing my Nano, because I think honestly I used to be really obsessive with like only giving people 1 or 2 things, but here's what I'll tell you: only focus on 1 or 2 things, but having like 3 or 4 or 5 things so that you have stuff to work on for like the next month and a half keeps it fun, because nobody wants to work on rushing sleep darts for a month. It gets so boring. You know what I'm saying? It's good to have practice one thing at a time, but mix it up on a week-to-week basis. You know what I'm saying? I think that's good to do. Okay. Any other questions?
Cool. No, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Remember what we talked about with warm-up?
Yeah.
Remember what we talked about with sleep? I think everything else is mostly fine, but those kind of adjustments aren't going to be super impactful. But because they're like a daily thing, it's like the accumulative impact of having a slightly better warm-up and slightly better sleep, I think will be impactful over time. So I highly recommend you work at that. Okay. Keep in touch. Let me know if you have questions. Use a replay code rule, and I appreciate you recording your VODs. That's saved us
so
today.
much.
All right. Cheers. Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right. That was Alchemy, the Ana Extraordinaire. Hope you guys found that one fun. That kind of Ana is actually like a really good representation of where I felt like I might still be there, honestly. Where I felt like coming back into the game, where I was like, I know how to play Ana. You got to get value to your cooldowns. You got to be aggressive, right? But then just not quite doing it properly. And I think that felt a lot of play.